In short, dear friend, you must have a word with him. You're worldly wise. He's sure to listen more to you than to us. In short, Enrico, we're in need of an adventurer, a man of action, a man of goodwill, a man of knowledge, a man. Besides, you've gained the most valuable thing in all the world, friends. For Statex skinned his last rabbit. New life! Here we come! You mean because you haven't got it on you right now? But I know you'll get it for us, my most loyal friend. Really? Fortune must be smiling down on us. What? You can't be serious. That's it! That's our loot! It's a metaphor, you ignorant oaf. That's it! Hark, Henry the Lionheart! The only thing missing for you to achieve glory is... They who can't hear the music think the dancers are mad. Well, if you change your mind, you know where to find us. What George is trying to say, in his crude way, is the artist lives by his brain, not his brawn. Common labour is for others, to be praised by poets in their odes. Help us, and you shall find undying glory in our song. So, how did you like it? Kindly ignore our friend George here. He's been a simple soul ever since he was dropped on his head as a baby. Short and to the point. That's us. In the words of the poet, una volta corre il cane, e una altra la lepre. He who seeks shall find. Or something like that. You're just like the others. You have no appreciation of the fragility of an artist's soul. Our dreams are shattered. The rose-tinted skies of glory are obscured by dark clouds. We'll be toiling in filth till we breathe our last. My very words. Let's drink to that. You might be able to help us out with something. Please, Henry, don't be so base. No gold in the world can match the luster of our velvet voices. While if it were in our hands... Look at this mess, Henry. That booze-soaked oaf broke the strings. Look, old pal, Henry himself is offering to lend a hand. What? Surely you can't be serious. Ah, how the hills shall ring out in gladness to their glorious sound. Our Saviour, we knew you'd support our artistic souls and save our mortal bodies. And we'll compose odes to your glory and bring you fame, Enrico. It's about nothing less than the very essence of the art of poetry. Well, you know, he's incapable of grasping that the artistic soul needs to fly as free as a bird. It's hanging all forlorn on a wall at the Carpenters in Troskowitz, the house directly opposite the Rathaus. Just look at what you've accomplished thanks to us, and all the adventures you've had. No, dear Henry, that's what we call what the hell have you done? Farewell! But as soon as we get some strings and make our way in the world a bit, we'll compose you a new, even better one. Incredible! Magnificent! Fascinating! Didn't you hear the ode we wrote about you? A fellow who helps his fellow man. Aspiring minstrels. It's clear you're incapable of understanding, incapable of appreciating the subtle nuances of our artistic performance. I'd say we were incomparable. Chi la dura la vince. You can't keep a good man down. The world awaits us. We? But, dear friend, we're artists. Because we don't have time. We have to concentrate on composing our songs, creating art. Art! Ah, you want to say new? New and original? We should get out of here! Where did you... How? You'd abandon your friends in their hour of need and sully our honor? Never. Sometimes the price is just too high to pay. All is lost. A dark cloud has descended upon us. We'll be grubbing dung till the end of our lives. If our first song is so successful, just imagine how our next one will be received. If you come to Kuttenberg, you will surely hear of us. Farewell. It's just that, well, you overdid it this time. But the huntsman's lodge is all the way over in Vidlark, where old Olbram herds his cattle. My legs won't carry me that far. He knows we can't pay back our debt outright, but he counts every wretched sip we take and adds it to the burden we have to shoulder. Imagine it. An ode to Henry, the hapless hoe-wielding hero harassing the heartless hordes of unique. Indeed, it is our calling. Thank you for everything, friend. Farewell. I knew you'd never leave us stuck. Ignoramus. Interesting. Dear Enrico, thank you for everything. It's time for us to shake the dust of this God-forsaken place off our feet and seek our fortune in the big wide world. Beast. Thanks for your efforts, Henry, but you should have thought twice about that. Perhaps we'll see you again one day in Gutenberg. Farewell, till we meet again in better times. Have a beer with us, dear Enrico, to reconcile. George and I might not even make it there. The nectar of poetry may be a balm to the soul, but not so much to the muscles. All praise and glory to you. May you and all your kin be honored for 7 generations for all you have done for us unfortunate artists. Can you imagine? He who never set foot outside his village wants to block 2 free souls in their path to fame. Alas, like a mother bird mourning her empty nest, the lute too pines for strings it once had. To the point where fornication and drinking leave no time for actual composing. Better to forego the pleasures of the flesh and give oneself to art. Onorate l'altissima poeta. But you'll help us, won't you? Just a few strings, that's all we need. Such benevolence deserves to be repaid. But considering our fragile constitutions, easy old pal, Henry will change his mind, you'll see. Experienced, and recognition, and highborn, your glory shall be sealed by the song we wrote for you, and it will be the torch lighting our way from this provincial purgatory to the gates of Gutenberg. And where are poor artists like us to get the coin? Alighieri, you dolt. So what do you think, Enrico? Where should a poet seek inspiration? George is exaggerating a bit, but still, we're a bit worried what will happen when someone finds out we've got the stolen loot. You? But, sorry, but how is anyone to know that when you're dressed in those rags? A peasant like you would never understand. Then sit, noble Enrico, and give your verdict on our dispute. It's just that my dear friend George here is a vulgar louse who knows as much about the art of poetry as a baying donkey. Sit, or what? You'll smear it with that excrement under your fingernails? Anything but that. It's my mouth that'll make me my fortune. Man to man, poet to poet. Wise counsel indeed. What's your name? My profound apologies. I mistook the noble excrement on your shoes for common peasant shit. Any tanner or bathhouse boy could be called Henry. Enrico is nobilissimo. The worthy gent is interested in our discourse. An honor indeed. But let's bicker no more, stranger. Perhaps you can be our judge. What's your name? I'm sure someone who appreciates our poetry will stop by here eventually. We just have to be patient. Who'd have thought you could be kissed by a muse while shoveling shit, eh? One day there'll be a solid gold statue of us standing in this tavern. You'll see. One day we'll be playing for the king himself. You'll see. Henrik Zescali, Curva. Henry, our hero Henry, the fellow who helps his fellow man. Enrico. Welcome, Enrico. Heinrich von Felsen. Ja. Enrico della Roccia. Molto bene. How can you take such a fine thing and abuse it for vulgar gain? I mean, give him what for? Such a noble instrument is just begging to celebrate art and life. The idiot broke the strings! Give me a moment. I just have to hold it like this, and... What? Henry, sick him! Ah, there's nothing to it. You only have to hold it and strum. I know Henry. He helped me and George. Well, it has got rhythm and melody. It just doesn't work. It's shit. Buongiorno, Enrico. Have you listened to us yet? You've heard us play. So, what do you say? Don't cry, mate, and drink up. Easy on, George. Henry doesn't know shit about music. Henry... And what have you been doing? I know that rotter Henry. He promised to help me and George, but he only cocked everything up. No wonder. I bet you half the people here end up under the table. So early? That's another thing I like about this place. Everywhere you look, there are girls pretty as flowers. Hang in there, Henry. Cheers. True. Let's drink to that. Farewell, vostro onore. You're a wet blanket. I wouldn't use such ugly words myself, but I have to agree with you otherwise. Come, we'll wash it down, George, and everything will be fine. Sorry, but it doesn't ring a bell. There's no end of people passing through these parts. You didn't expect to see us here, did you? But the thing is, if the audience gets really bored, our first song has to liven them up again. I can see you're a man of taste. It's like the muses are fighting amongst themselves to see who can kiss me first. My heart is breaking. This isn't music. This is an abuse of musical instruments. And to the smiles of your women. A good intention spoiled by a lack of talent. Will you join us, Enrico? The whole region has its charm. Deep forests, rocky peaks jutting into the sky. Greetings, stranger. You look like an interesting fellow. Come and see us at the tavern sometime. When this awful wailing stops, it'll be our turn. So don't miss it. And to the newlyweds' health. And what do you know about it? Are you an artist? But you have to come with us, Henry. But I could use a drink too. What about you, Henry? Don't worry about it, George. Henry doesn't know music from a gaggling goose. But I haven't a clue where he might be. Now who might you be? You don't look like a countryside yokel. Stop by the tavern and we'll have a little intelligent discourse. So Bailiff Thrush had us brought back and even invited us to come and play here. Always happy to have a chat with you, brother, but only at the tavern with an ale to wet our throats. You've been kissed by the muse and have a poem to share with me? Wonderful, but let's save it for the tavern. Of course, but only with tankards in our hands and song on our lips. We'll meet at the tavern. Uccidilo! Thrash him, Henry! Smash him like you did our lute! Bite his fingers! Teach him manners! Let him have it! Defend our honor! Animal! Have you no shame at all? It hasn't quite worked out yet, but our luck will turn soon enough. You'll see. Bungler! All that's beautiful, all that's under those hose of yours is shit-stained brays. The driver wanted coin in exchange, but as soon as we pulled out the loot you got for us, and George and I played our beautiful, the miners there are well aware of the silver in the rocks. Art for its own sake. That is the true goal of real poetry. You call that poetry? It's the bleating of a goat. You're laughing now, but you won't dare sing that kind of smut in Kuttenberg, will you? So you're saying the number of stanzas or style of meter are irrelevant, just as long as I make a lot of use of the word? The ramblings of an unhinged mind! He's sure to bring the innkeeper to his senses. Who are we to be toiling outside? Folly! Drink up so we can hit the road. The interminable torment of waiting for our instrument. And all for naught. Let's have a drink, shall we? To quiet our spirits. That's a bit much. Don't lose faith, my friend. He'll handle it just fine. Perhaps he'll make a deal with the old man. Either way, it won't cost us a thing anyway. Absurd! Master of death, lord of the forest, guardian of nature. You really reckon he's going to sit at a spinning wheel like an old crone? Kuttenberg, where the roads are paved with silver. Where the citizens spend their time discussing poetry instead of base labor. The delicate weave of my poetic dream is rent apart, leaving scars forever etched into a wooden heart. How exactly did Vostatek say he made the strings? And so clever that talking to them is a balm to the soul. And don't change the subject. Simply wonderful song. So he took us for free. Ugh. About what I'd expect from you, once again. Oh, good God, what's that supposed to be? It appalls me to even utter the word. True, we may be sleeping on a pile of hay, and they only let us stay in the tavern if we clean up there. But they promised us they'd let us play for the guests' amusement. Catchy, engaging, life and love affirming, bitter-sweet, moving, phnemonimal. Right. Ale, ale, you stir my blood and make the ugliest woman look good. You foul vulgarian. O gentle knight, why linger on? O gentle knight, why linger on? Lend your ears to my sad song. It does not fit. The stress is shifted to the wrong syllable in the second line, and in the last you squashed 3 syllables into one iambus. I've heard tomcats wailing better songs. The meter is way off, but as my Italian friend says, sbagliando si impara. I've no need to. I have reached enlightenment and my steps are guided by the muse. I'm dedicating my life to unrequited love and French sonnets. Stop that! You're interrupting my train of thought. You won't have to dig through shit your whole life. Trust me. Oh, why did I open my mouth? Or, as he would say, his balls are full to bursting and it addles his brain. Henry, is that you? My friend, welcome to Kuttenberg. Aye, let the ale flow and wash away the bitter taste of discord. Oh, God, perhaps you'd be better off composing poetry about nature. It's a metaphor. It's what Aristotle regards as the foundation stone of composition. But an ass like you couldn't possibly understand. La parenza inganna, my friend. Looks can be deceiving. We are certainly in Lady Luck's favour. Royal the Kuttenberg treasury, in that finest of our cities, moving step by step towards fame and glory, my friend. All we need is for a few rich folks to notice us, and we'll be set for life. What do you mean support? A bit of food is a small reward for the nourishment of the soul we shall provide him with. You too, my graceful and gallant friend. And don't worry, one day when we'll be playing for the king himself, we'll certainly put in a good word for you. That's it! You dare to call the mistress of my heart a demon? I beg your pardon. You're a beast! Linger on. Linger on. How can I continue? By wagon, of course. How else? Barbarian. As soon as we start playing, I'm certain some rich burgher will notice us and make us his own personal poets. Pay no mind to him. A cloud of doubt has obscured his common sense. Right, and you've come up with some real pearls, haven't you? I can't talk to you now, when my best friend is dead. Dead and gone. Go away. Don't speak to me. What am I to do now, alone in the world? Leave me alone. Go away.
You know exactly what words I'm talking. Who will pull a sheep gut out through the creature's rectum? Woohoo!
I can't tune the strings.
So you're definitely not going to sing those words, right? When you want to string your lute and trumpet with your black drum, a friend who'll never leave you stuck when it seems you're out of luck. Ho ho, ho ho, ho ho, ho ho. Henry, thank you, Henry. He gets the job done the best he can. Oh, Henry, we thank you, Henry. The fellow who helps his fellow man. Henry, reliable Henry. He gets the job done the best he can. Henry, our hero Henry, the fellow who helps his fellow man. Now who can that friend be?